What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica. We are down here, honey, to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. We're going to get this video. I'm going to hurry up and do this video because that Bell Collective video was almost 50 minutes, and that don't make no damn sense. It really doesn't. Talking too much. We start off, the first thing I have is Brooklyn meets her grandfather for the first time in person. That was so sweet. She looked so happy with that smile and just laughing. I was like, what is she laughing about? What did they tell her? Because she just laughing and smiling as she hugged her grandfather. Shout out to the grandpas. Hopefully he'll be, in her life. Hopefully she can grow up and talk to her grandpa and be on FaceTime with him and talk to him and stuff like that. Because her father is a scumbag. I'm sorry. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. I already tell you that. Every time I see Mark Daly, when I tell you I have I feel like I was in a relationship with that motherfucker. Like every time I see him, I probably was in a relationship with somebody with that same personality type. And when I see him, I just, ugh, it's like gross. And I feel like he wants to be attached to a cultural icon that is Kenya Moore. He wants the relevancy, like being attached to her gives him relevancy. The first time I heard about the being married to a narcissist on this reality show circuit was Tamra Judge saying that her ex-husband, Barney, that was her last name before, how her ex-husband was a narcissist and how it was so hard, like getting a divorce, and how difficult he made it to get a divorce. And he was just drawing it out, trying to turn the children against her. He was successful with one of her daughters. I don't know if she talks to her daughter now, but I feel like Tamra, I don't know. I don't listen to Two T's in a Pod, but I feel like Tamra should talk about her divorce experience with that man again. So it can show, like, when we call, we see a motherfucker acting a certain way and we be like, he's a narcissist. He's a narcissist. But when I tell you, you don't ever want to be in relationship with a narcissist, whether it's a romantic relationship, a familial, or even professional, at work. Being in a relationship with a narcissist is really hard work. And you can really, they can make you think, like, the gaslighting, just all this stuff is just like, they're just mean. And especially if you discard them first, they don't get a chance to discard you. It's almost like they become obsessed with making your life a living hell. That's why with a narcissist, when you want to get rid of them, you got to do something so that they can discard you. When you become aware, when you snap the fuck up out of it, you got to do something so they can discard you and feel like they discarded you. Because if you discard them first, they're literally going to make your life a living hell. They will. They will. I don't wish that on anybody. Yeah, we can say a lot of these niggas are narcissists, but being in relationship with one is something, it is like the worst. I feel like Mark is just making Kenya suffer because he wants to be connected to her. He's just going to keep it going. And then he's going to say it's her. That's where the gaslighting come in. It's really you. You're the one dragging your feet. No, nigga, you had to get new legal representation. They didn't even want to represent you anymore. We had to wait for you to get legal representation. How the fuck is that dragging her feet, girl? Anyways, and to hear Kenya say that she wants to duplicate his DNA again, girl, that man is undeserving to have people with his DNA walking around this earth. God bless Brooklyn, but there's no one else. No one else. No, don't bring nobody else unless he goes somewhere else. You don't be the person, the vessel to bring in that man's DNA into this world again. I wouldn't do it. And I know that's like a real, very sensitive conversation about embryos and stuff like that. But just at the first layer of it, I would not, the way that man is built, I would not replicate his DNA in another human being. He would not get that privilege at all. They're having brunch at Drew's house. Drew says, it's out of nowhere. Ralph doesn't even know what a spatula is. I guess he wants to show that he's a gracious husband. She's throwing jabs at him. One of the questions I told Andy to ask Drew is, being that you're such a great actress, how did it feel acting through all of these scenes with your husband, knowing that you were on your way to divorce? What was it that he did that make you say, I need to break both Achilles again while I'm running down to the courthouse to beat him to file for divorce? I need to know. Because she's throwing jab. You hear the shade. I guess he wants to show the people he's gracious, but this is out of nowhere. Ralph tells her that the girls never get along. I mean, the guys get along. You don't even know the guys. Shut the fuck up. You don't know the guys. You know Todd, and that's it. The guys get along. The girls, y'all don't get along. So we want to do something for y'all. We want to do a brunch. So they want to do a brunch for the women. Bryce shows up. Candy. I thought it was weird. I don't know if they did that. They inserted Candy's reaction to Kenya acknowledging Bryce, like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in 20 years, because you just had the same conversation with him. I haven't seen you in 20 years. I don't know if you were rolling your eyes because of the way how she was emoting, like, oh my God, I haven't seen you. Oh my God, it's been like 20 years. And then like they insert a reaction from Candy rolling her eyes. So I don't know if that was in response to that, but you know how the people do. Because I would be like, wow, I'm thinking to myself, why is she rolling her eyes when she just had the same exact conversation with Bryce? Anyways, Candy even throws shade at Courtney in the confessionals and says, how did Bryce deal with, how did he put up with Courtney? Drew's sister mama comes downstairs and she looks, greets everybody, and Candy didn't get a chance to meet her because she wasn't at the photo shoot. Kenya shows up. Is this Bryce? Oh my God, it's been so long. How many years has it been? And Candy rolls her eyes. And I was like, what? Why is she rolling her eyes? All right, girl. Anyway, so before they start eating, you heard Candy talking about, I need an appetizer. Oh, hungry ass. Well, I tell you, a Taurus stays hungry, honey. Y'all stay hungry. Don't get in my comments throwing gang signs. Y'all stay hungry, okay? Kenya, is your guy here? Sheree's asking. Sheree, where's your man? One thing I do not like about women is when they start throwing dicks. I do not like that. I hate the fact that Sheree keeps trying to throw shade at Kenya about a man being there. You have a man there and he's still trash. You have a man there and he's still trash. Martell is trash. So whether you believe that Kenya's relationship is real or not, and the man, he ain't here, you see her almost choking her confessional. She couldn't get the words out. Girl, she looked like she almost had an aneurysm. I was like, Sheree is so whack. When I tell you that lady is every time I look at her, I'll be like, girl, you are so whack. You so whack as hell. You always throwing shade at Kenya. Now, I'm not saying that, because when they showed Marlo talking about Kenya and all the men she done had, we saw all the men on the screen and none of them were shit. Ain't none of them shit. Ain't none of your niggas shit either. So what are we really doing here? Girl, you bringing an ain't shit nigga who cheated on his wife during the fucking pandemic, raw dogging bitches and getting women pregnant and shit. Come on. That's your nigga? Where's your man? Girl, where's yours? Like that, you saw that interview where somebody asked, not when she was on her podcast. Girl, don't ask me about my motherfucking man. Where's your man, honey? Drew asked, where's Martell? Right after. Where's Martell? Oh, he's sick. He didn't feel well. Oh, he didn't. He didn't feel well. Girl, your fake ass relationship. That's what I think is crazy as hell when they talk about how, oh, Kenya's fake ass relationship. Look at y'all in y'all fake ass relationships. Portia, Sheree, who y'all have fake ass relationships too. You was really in relationship. You want us to believe that you was really in a relationship with Martell Holt? Girl. Two niggas who don't It's so funny when I think about like the business mind of Martell and the business mind of Sheree. I feel like they belong together. Like the two niggas who don't finish shit. Girl, when I found out that builder's license was open book, girl, that builder's license test is open book. Did y'all know that? Somebody said it, and I was like, I'm gonna look it up. I went to the damn Alabama Builder's License Board, whatever the website is, and bitch, two sources that I looked at said that that damn test is open book. They allow you to use resources on your test, girl. And Martell, has he passed his builder's license? That's your man, a dumb nigga. You got a dumb nigga, okay? Girl, a mess. Marlo brings Scott Lee. Marlo, well, this is the first time we didn't see outside of Charles Grant. This is the first time we've seen Marlo bring a man onto the show. Remember when her and Nene were both dating Charles Grant? And then she has the nerve to talk about Kenya and the sloppy seconds. Remember that man when Nene was like, "Girl, I don't know if you could have got any, if you could have got anything out of that man. You know, bitches is mad, bling bling. Bitches is mad. You know, that man. You know, Marlo." She went and tried to hustle the nigga. What's her name? Nene said, Nene said, I don't know if you could have got anything because I worked his pockets. I said, I know that's right. Come on, Nene. Come on, Nene. And Roy wasn't really a sloppy second. Y'all went out on a date. And then I'm tired of y'all saying that niggas are in your DMs and when they're responding to stories. That's what I noticed on Martha's Vineyard. Everything that dude, what's his name? Nick, the little preppy one. Every inbox or DM they showed from Nick to any of those women, he was responding to your story, a picture on your story. He was responding with hard eyes. He was responding, you look good. He was responding. He was not in your DMs. He responded to a story, and when somebody responds to a story, the message goes into the direct message box. So they're not like in your DMs. They're just looking at your stories and responding to them. Because they're responding to them. They're not like going to their messages and looking for you and then typing your name and then sending you a message. Anyways, so Kenya shades his shirt. She says, what the F does he have on? Candy says she knows him. You know, Candy is Miss Southwest Atlanta, the queen of the SWATs. Anyway, she knows everybody in Atlanta, honey. And so she knows Scott Lee. She's met him before. She doesn't feel like Marlo is his type and that Marlo has whore behavior. That's what Candy said. I said, oh, you know, she usually doesn't give it up unless she gets some money. Okay. You know, they gotta be spending before she does something. Where did that shade come from, Candy? I was like, okay. Marlo's still a whore. She's a whore. They call me a whore and say I sleep with white men. Candy is casting for Todd's movie. What is it called? The Pass. And Kenya was like, oh my God, are you guys gonna offer? Why you guys didn't tell me? Are you gonna send me an offer? Because you know I don't audition. I honestly think she was joking. I do not think that Kenya was for real. I do not think that Kenya was for real. Anyways, but they casted Drew. We already know that they casted Drew. Candy says because Drew acts young and naive. She's not young and naive. She acts like she's good at acting like she is. You cast Drew? She's like, yeah. Drew shades Kenya in the interview and says, you haven't been in a movie in 22 years. Toi was 22 years ago. Let the acting career go and just move on. And then on Twitter last night, Kenya was like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that to me about my career. But lady, you know, you were down here. You was just down here 2 weeks ago saying that her video was a low budget blow. Drew told Kenya to give up acting. since she hasn't been in a movie in 22 years. Is that true? I didn't even bother looking it up because I really don't care, child. Roy calls Kenya on FaceTime. Kenya shows everybody, like, hey, say hi to everybody. And then Marlo goes, is that Roy? And she was like, oh my God, I know him. She was like, yeah, I went on a date with him. And shout out to Jamie, that's me. Jamie, that's me, went on a date with him too. Roy was down there dating the girls, honey. He trying to figure out who's going to be the one, honey. So she threw out, so she said, yeah, I dated him, or I went on a date with him. And so Kenya actually gets up from the table. She was like, I can't hear you. I'm going to get up from, she gets up from the table and she goes into another room and she finishes her conversation with him. So everybody at the table was like, girl, what did you say you dated him? We went on a date, and this was back, like, I guess 5 years ago. They showed the DM from 2018. They went to lunch. Kenya says, well, I guess he realized that she wasn't the one. I guess she was showing him what not to do, right? And then Kenya said, on the after show, was it on the after show? Oh, no, she said to Candy later in Portugal that she knew that, he had talked to Marlo back in the day, that he had already told her that. And then they tried to compare it with the situation with Martell. Oh my God, Kenya made a big deal about Martell being in her DMs and to try to make it a big deal and this and that. No, and then I said it. Did I say it online or did I say it here? Let me see if I said it here. I don't, did I say it here? The difference between the situation with Martell and Roy, from what I see, is that Martell is an opportunist trying to get on the back of somebody in a reality show. So he was throwing his line out there trying to see who would catch it, and a fool caught it, right? So that's why he's been able to get on this platform with Sheree, because she's the fool who caught the bait. Kenya didn't catch the bait. She's trying to be nice, and then he comes back, or he's trying to be nice, but that was a way to open conversation. The same way Roy was trying to open conversation with Marlo 5 years ago. He told Marlo, I'm sure if Marlo knew that Kenya was dating Roy and was for real about Roy, that she probably would have told her. And in that way, like, girl, I used to date him, or I talked to him every time, even Candy, every time, every nigga Portia done brought on the show, Candy practically knew, oh, I know about him. I know about him. I know he does this. When you know that the person is dating, you tell them that. That's why Kenya was trying to tell Sheree, I didn't even know y'all was serious, but since you are getting serious, you bringing this nigga out in public, you guys are not just fucking. Let me tell you something. He DM'd me like 2 years ago. 6 months ago, 6 months at least. So that's the difference. The difference is Martell is an opportunist. And I don't think that she made it such a big deal. He's the one that made it a big deal because he was already on the defense, right? He was already on the defense. So she says, where's the energy you had for Martell? Who is the energy supposed to be directed to? Marlo? Marlo would have told, I'm sure Marlo would have said something to her the way she said it immediately when she saw him. Oh, I dated him. Or I went on a date with him. Oh, I went on a date with him. I actually probably would have preferred Marlo to wait until the nigga was off the phone to say that. But her and Kenya are not in a good place, so she's going to say it and be shady about it, right? So I'm trying to figure out, Sheree, your dumbass, what energy for Martell? Who is the energy supposed to be directed to? Marlo or Roy? That was 5 years ago. And one date, girl. Drew says Kenya has Marlo's sloppy seconds because we don't know where Marlo has been. I was like, is that shade towards Kenya? Is that shade towards Marlo? Drew, are you gonna be able to take the heat when you get to the damn reunion? You real shady in the interviews. Marlo says to Kenya, enjoy my leftovers, bitch. They said they went to lunch and they were in separate cars. That's what you said. So what it's just to be shady. It's just to say something shady, right? Kenya says, well, thank God he didn't date her because he was available to date me. So she's trying to make the best out of what they're trying to make a shady situation. Sheree asked Drew, are you going to pay the chef? listen, she don't pay, Chateau Thelma. You have no business. You have a lot of nerve asking if somebody's going to pay somebody when we know that you intentionally complain about things so that you can get out of paying it. We know we know your stunt, honey. We know your stunt. Everything you do, you find a problem with so you don't have to pay. So you have a lot of nerve asking you, are you gonna pay that? Are you gonna pay? Are you gonna pay that man right there? Are you shut up, Sheree? You have a lot of nerve. Sheree brings up a lawsuit that Drew is going through right now with a woman that was supposed to make some food for her. She didn't like her services, and now the woman is trying to sue her for $1,000. Girl, Sheree, not you asking about somebody being paid. That's what Kenya said. Exactly, girl. We know how you work. Courtney, I'm so glad you're going on the trip to Portugal with us. I don't. Then Kenya was making a joke and saying, I don't know how that worked out. I don't think it worked out with Candy. And then Kenya said, I don't need crisis management. I'm a crisis in itself. She was like, yeah, that's why. And she started touching Kenya, like putting her hands on Kenya. And Kenya was like, okay, that's good. That's good, girl. You don't have to keep touching me. You already touched me like 3 times. And now, you don't have to touch me. I need you to keep your hands to yourself. And then Drew chimed in, which I am glad because Kenya did thank Drew later for chiming in. Like, these are her boundaries. She's telling you you've touched her enough. You're getting touchy, and you're touching me, and you're being shady with me. That those two things don't go together. So don't touch me, okay? Trying to be funny and shady, all right? Candy is ready to go. She ate, honey. She was ready to go, and she got out of there. She's telling Todd to come on, let's go. On the way to Portugal, they're talking about let's have positive energy. They're on the Sprinter van. Kenya looks away. Sheree says, Kenya, why are you looking away? She was like, I wasn't looking away. So then Kenya turns completely around in her seat to look directly at Sheree, since Sheree says she turned away. She did turn around, and she rolled her eyes. She was like, girl, you know what it's going to give, honey. Candy thought she had food poisoning. Kenya didn't bring Brooklyn. Ralph is going to Vegas. You trust Ralph in Vegas? That's basically what Kenya was saying. You trust Ralph in Vegas? I guess he's going to be in this like chocolate Magic Mike or something like that. I don't know. Somebody says Sheree's trip was better than Kenya's. Kenya's wasn't a cash trip. She just brought y'all along with her. And I don't know who paid for the hotel, but this was a cash trip. Everybody was there. That what Kenya did was not a cash trip. Y'all are on a cash trip, so production pays and says it's you. You're the one hosting, right? So this is a cash trip. I did catch Kenya telling Sheree about being a hostess. Kenya, we're going to keep it real, okay? Keeping it real with Nene. Every time you host, it's always some mess. It is always some mess. So while you want everybody to be the great hostess, you need to be a good hostess too. You need to work on your hosting skills too. We didn't know that Manietta had an orphanage, honey. So she has an orphanage in South Africa, I think she said. I don't remember what she said. Don't give me the line. But Drew tells us she hasn't been to Africa. She's only been to South Africa. I haven't been up, to the... I was like, okay. Okay, girl. Marlo and Sanya are out there talking. They've made it to Portugal by now. They're outside talking, and everyone is getting along. Sheree, Drew is talking to... Who was Drew talking to? I forgot who Drew was talking to. Who was Drew talking to? I don't remember who Drew was talking to, but she was like, Sheree bringing up the lawsuit was kind of effed up because her and Sheree are supposed to be on this road to healing and this road to recovery. And she has a lot of nerve because she has multiple people she needs to pay. And everybody at the table were like, girl, you already have a reputation. Literally, that is your reputation, that you don't pay. You have a reputation of not paying people. And you want to sit up here at my home and ask me, am I going to, and act like you trying to be funny and ask me if I'm going to pay the chef? Girl, shut the fuck up. You have a lot of nerve. And then when somebody brings it up to you, you're, oh, I cannot stand Sheree. You get defensive. Girl, in my home, you asked me, was I going to pay the chef? You have a reputation of not paying people. Shut your ass up. That's the end of the discussion. Girl, you don't have nothing to say to me. Nothing. Nothing. Kenya and Candy are out on the balcony having a conversation. She says she has another divorce court date. Candy says, girl, I am so tired of hearing about your long ass divorce. Kenya says, I've been getting a divorce longer than I was married. Right. Because you was desperate. He spotted your desperation. Loved bombed you. Swept you off to what, Turks? Where'd you get married? Bermuda. Where'd she get married? She got married somewhere. Antigua. Where did swept you off your feet? Ugh. Ugh. She doesn't really want to talk about who she's dating. He had already told Kenya that he had, talked to Marlo before, went on a date with Marlo. She says he doesn't follow her now. I don't know how true that is. You weren't what he was looking for. Roy is fine, handsome, young, and eligible. He does not have to pay for pussy. Sorry. Another dig at Marlo being a prostitute. a professional. Yes. Sorry, he doesn't have to pay for puss. Marlo said that they were in separate cars on the date that they went on. That they were in cars. Like he was in the car next to her and she was in the car. Isn't that what she said? That's what I heard. Isn't that what she said? Okay. Marlo and Sanya are having a conversation about, Sanya brings up, the situation of her dating Roy. And she was like, can you believe it? Oh my God. And she was like, but she gave the girl so much grief about Martell. She really didn't give the girls grief. She was like, girl, I'm just telling you that he DM'd me. I'm letting you know. I didn't know you were serious about the nigga, right? You're bringing community dick in public, girl. Absolutely not. You bringing a man who cheated on his wife. You have him on your arm in public. Okay, I guess it's getting serious. I should probably tell you. He tried to throw a line at me. I didn't take the bait. Looks like you have. So you need to know. Roy is corny. Marlo says he's perfect for Kenya. He's great for Kenya. He's corny. We done seen 100. What? Nothing lasts long. Oh yeah, we done seen 100 men Kenya being with. They showed 6 men on the screen, and none of them ain't shit. But let's put the niggas you've been attached to on the screen. I'm sure they ain't shit either. Let's put the niggas Sheree's been connected to. I'm sure they ain't shit either. Let's put the niggas that Portia's been connected to. Drew, whoever, Sonya, whoever. I'm sure the niggas ain't shit. It's not a shocker, right? That you happen to pick a ain't shit nigga. Look at the lot that you have to choose from, honey. Good luck. Really made the odds be ever in your favor, girl. So they get down to dinner. Everybody gets dressed. Everybody looks nice. They go down to eat dinner. Kenya wants to do a shot. The man didn't quite understand, so he brings them drinks. They want a shot of tequila. What do they take shots of in Portugal? Sheree tells them the trip's purpose. If anybody has any issues with anybody or any issues that they have weighing on you, this is a healing trip. We're here to heal. Courtney tells Kenya, I didn't know we had a problem. Kenya was looking at her knife, looking at herself while Courtney was talking. She was like, Kenya, I didn't know we had a problem. And she says, well, no, what the issue was is that you started to get condescending with me. That's the thing. Like, don't be touching me while you throwing shade, because that's not the touch that I want, right? You throwing shade at me, you being shady, and you touching me at the same time. That don't go. Stay over there. Throw your shade. Throw it, right? Don't touch me. Don't touch me while you throwing shade. Don't touch me. And it became a little condescending. She says, I just keep getting this mean girl energy from you. Well, then Drew, she says, well, I appreciate Drew. It's not a mean girl energy. I'm just putting up a boundary. The condescending tone, I'm not cool with it. I appreciate you, Drew, for saying that it was a boundary. Like Candy's resting bitch face. You have to know she's making faces, but she's, you got to take it with a grain of salt. So they said it's all about respect. We have to respect how everyone feels, right? And she was like, yeah, okay, it was a boundary. It's okay, yeah. See, this is the thing. Y'all have watched Real Housewives of Atlanta. And you come on this show and you want a problem with the queen. You do. I'm sorry. You want a problem with Kenya because she's the one. But Kenya has decided not to play into the villain role that she had been boxed in for all the years, right? She took on the villain role. She's tired of it. She said it. So in the last 2 seasons, you see Kenya last season, she was like on the 3rd seat. She didn't have problems with anybody, right? She wasn't in the 1st seat. I'm not taking on the villain role. Marlo can take it. Let Marlo take it. But so you come on the show and you want to have, she's a mean girl. You want to have a problem. Girl, I feel your energy coming from 3,000 miles away. Don't touch me while you're trying to throw shade. If you think that that's mean girl energy, whatever it is, don't be talking to me crazy. Trying to touch me. You've touched me enough, okay? Drew brings up what Sheree, she says, Sheree, you're at my house basically and you bring up something that was on the blogs. You brought it up with other people when I wasn't around. There's a level of sensitivity you have with your friends. Sheree lets Drew know we're not there yet. We're not friends like that. So I can still throw this shade at you. Sheree is so whack. When I tell you, like Drew is whack and Sheree, it's like an argument between 2 of the wackest people on the show. Drew, she starts getting defensive. Girl, you have no position to get defensive. She brings up what Sheree did, what she brought up in the public about Sheree taking the clothes back after the reunion. So Sheree is holding on to that, right? Because it makes your business look more suspect than it already is. I don't know how anyone would put their credit card information into she scamming system for any article of clothing. I would never. Girl, her and Tyrone got your credit card numbers over there. Girl, absolutely not. It hurts. You let me down as well. This is what Sheree is saying. And then she starts interrupting Drew as Drew is telling her how she feels about what just happened at her house and her bringing up the shit on the blogs. And then she goes, oh, keep going. I love it. Like, okay, we're in a battle now. Sheree, shut up. Oh my God. She gets so defensive. She says, we're not friends like that. You start out with the lie. You went on a radio station and lied on me. She said, I thought we already talked about that. She was like, well, did you not lie? She said, we already talked about that. I thought we already got over that. She says, yeah, the clothes were being confiscated. Everyone co-signed that the clothes were being taken back. Everybody except for Marlo. She's sitting up in an interview with a hat tilted to the side and a shirt with who gonna check me boo on the front of it with the picture of Sheree. I like my Sheree. I like my she by Sheree. She says, everybody says that the clothes were taken away. Sheree is denying it. Candy says, so you think we're lying about that? She said, yes. Girl. Yes. Marlo has stuff. Everyone says that they were asked to return the stuff. I thought we were supposed to move forward. We already talked about this. Yeah, and you're bringing up a lawsuit, and that's something serious, and it's something that affects me and my family. She says, how are you? And then Sheree goes, it doesn't feel good, does it? When I tell you that type of shit triggers me, because it means that you were intentionally trying to do something to me. I don't like that. Remember when Ashley did that to Candace? You don't like how it feels. You don't like how it feels, do you? That kind of shit. She says, how are you going to do a trip about healing and you're incapable of healing yourself? Everybody was looking like, oh. Sheree says, don't tell me what I need to acknowledge. She says, I want you to acknowledge that you hurt my feelings. Somebody says, well, Sheree, you keep bringing it up. What do you need from her to, for forgiveness? Like, what do you need to do? What does she need to do for you to forgive her? Drew gets up. She walks away crying. Is she crying? Is Drew crying? Marlo says, I think she left. She's crying. I think she's crying. Kenya says, you need to be a better host. She was like, what? She was like, you need to go check on her or whatever. So they're trying to figure out what's wrong with Drew crying about the situation. Who goes out? Kenya, Sheree. No, not Kenya. Sheree. And it was somebody else that went out to check on Drew walking away with her braids in her hair. And that was the end of the episode. You got to do better as a host. Kenya, you got a lot of nerve. Just like Sheree got a lot of nerve with asking somebody if they're going to pay somebody. You have a lot of nerve telling somebody they need to be a better host. Girl. Girl. Anyways, Sheree is whack. Drew is whack. This episode was pretty good. I'm going to see what they're going to do next week. We'll see what's going to happen. Sheree never apologized. Sheree, I feel like Sheree is just one big, like, fraud. Like, I feel like she's just fraud. She's just fraud. I just feel like she's just one big fraud. I do. That's why I think she's whack. Drew's the same thing. I feel like this is the wrong show. Every time I see Drew and anything having to do with her story, I feel like she needs to be on The Voice or American Idol or America's Got Talent. Whatever show where you got to get on stage and perform, a variety show, I don't know, whatever, a singing competition show, and then they spotlight you and they do a little vignette on your family dynamics and where you came from, and here you are pursuing your dreams and acting and singing. She's on the wrong show. I think she's whack. Sheree is whack. Girl, get them off of my show. That little dog is so cute. Anyways, y'all, take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. You let me know what you think. I want to know what y'all think about them comparing the situation between Roy and Martell and the DM situation. Y'all let me know what you think about that. And you let me know, how do you feel about Kenya telling Courtney that she's condescending and she didn't want her touching her? What do y'all think about that? Let me know what you think about that. And what do you think about the situation between Drew and Sheree? You took the clothes back. She didn't get on. Did she lie? Everybody confirmed it. You're the liar, lady. That's so crazy to me. You're the fucking liar. You're the liar. You're the liar and you don't pay people. You whack. Sheree got fans? Girl. Do people like her? All right, y'all gotta go. I'm gonna go take a walk. I'm gonna walk around here. And then I got to run an errand. So anyways, y'all take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Let me know what you think of the episode. Don't forget to like the video. Peace.